Fantastic. So let's start with the second session today for the fifth virtual summit. So we have already a few participants. I don't know if any of those were on yesterday's presentation where we had Harold and Alison. So just a recap from yesterday, we were talking about the trends and the industry trends from Harold was talking a bit about, well, it's not a bit, it actually he was talking a lot about it, as always Harold does. So we had a lot of good insights. I'm still trying to digest all the information that he brought during that presentation, so it was very, very interesting as every year. We were able to see that the jewelry still is in a healthy place. So we were talking about the trends. We were talking about the online sales, also about the diamonds natural lab. That is always a subject that everyone wants to know about. And as we were explaining yesterday, today we'll go a bit deeper. And after Harold and Alison story that she was talking, that it was good actually because she was talking about a jewelry family that had CounterSketch, Matrix Gold, Ever and Ever, and the B9. So it was a good story to match the virtual summit that we are doing this year because this jewelry family, they had almost everything that we will be talking during these days. So today will be the turn for CounterSketch. Today with us we'll have Angela and Jason that they will be talking a bit about how first we bring all the trends, how we choose all the designs that we are getting in Ever and Ever, and so in CounterSketch. And we want to give the full picture about the CounterSketch wall. So from the moment that Angela and her team is choosing what needs to go inside CounterSketch to Jason that receives all the files from customers after making some modifications to create the custom jewelry that the final customers are looking for, and what are all the challenges that Jason needs to work on to provide the final piece to our customers so they are ready just to give it to the final customer. So let me go with Angela and Jason. Every time that I do these introductions, I need to go a bit about the notes that I have because all of you, you have so many things. So, but Angela is the product manager for Bridal at the Stuller. So every month, her and myself, we talk about, she's she's telling me what we need to put into CounterSketch. So this is why I thought she will be the right person for today. She has been graduated in fashion merchandising, and then she moved to Los Angeles, where she spent for 6 years or more with companies like Guess and in merchandising. And then she went back to Louisiana. So I understand that because last week I was there and I love the Cajun culture, so and the food. So I understand this way back. So hello, Angela, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Excited for this session. So let's see. And then we also have Jason. Jason, he has been like for more than 36 years, around 36 years on the jewelry manufacturing. So 36 years is a lot of time. So this can tell us all the knowledge that Jason have and all the background that he has from during these 36 years. As you can imagine, a lot has been going on in the jewelry manufacturing. So being on this all these years, he has seen all the way from working with your hands to digital with the CAD software. This is why he's now in the CAD-CAM department. He started learning first with Mastercam and Matrix 9, and then he started with Stuller on the CAD-CAM team first as manager of the CAD operations, so overseeing validation, modification. He will talk about this on his presentation. And today in the present, he's more on the sketch service. So as you will see in the presentation, we have different ways that we can pick files or sketches from customers. So of course, that one is about the sketch is when you need people who knows a lot about jewelry because it's not just about using the software, but also knowing about thickness that you need to set 1 carat stone. So this is why with all his knowledge, was brought to the sketch manager. So when he receives an order, he knows what needs to be done to have a piece that this piece can last forever. So I believe that I did the introduction. Jason, how are you today? All good? So let me see how I see you.
We're doing
You're looking
fine.
with these cool glasses because you are in a dark place, but that will be good. Perfect. So what I will do is I will let you, Angela, start sharing your screen if you want. And from there, you can start with your presentation. Did I make you co-host? Let me just be sure. Yes. Now it's starting.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So thank you guys so much for having me here. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about trends and how we add things into CounterSketch. We don't just drop random designs and hope for the best. We are constantly asking ourselves what are timeless designs as well as what's trending, because at the end of the day, that's what your customers are coming to you for. Some people want a classic, and then some people want that it ring they saw on Instagram or a celebrity's hand. So I'll kind of walk you through how we spot some of those trends. First up, industry reporting. Not all publications are created equally. We typically like to look at business insights. So we'll look at National Jeweler or something like In-Store Magazine. These are written for people within the industry and not just the end consumer. A lot of times the other publications are just ads that are made to look like an article. When you scroll down, you'll see a lot of times it's sponsored content. So really making sure you're looking at reputable publications. And we will look at things like Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, those more algorithm-based ones. But we'll kind of take that with a grain of salt because it is tailored to your personal taste. It'll just kind of show you more what you want to see. So just because you're seeing oval solitaires on everything, it doesn't mean that that's something that's trending. But spoiler alert, those are everywhere. And a really great way to gut check if something is actually a trend. This is Google Trends. If you have a Gmail account, it's completely free to use. You can type in a jewelry style, a jewelry aesthetic, or even stone shapes, and it'll show you trends over the past even hours up to years. So you can see if things are steadily trending up or steadily trending down. I had put Halo style here. That is something that we have seen slow down with lab grown. We've seen a lot more of solitaires, 3 stones and 2 stones, but it'll also even show you regionality. So you can see if it's something that is trending in your area. And then once we do kind of our gut check and make sure that what we're seeing is actually a trend, like I mentioned before, we'll go to our trusted trade resources like National Jeweler or In-Store Magazine. These are really great resources, not only for industry insights, but also for trends. So they'll cover things like the Met Gala and all of those red carpet events. And then we also have the Stuller blog. We recently did a blog on Miss Taylor Swift's engagement ring. The team actually turned that around in less than 24 hours, which was pretty crazy. But in that blog, we go through and talk about her ring. We also curate for you guys items that we already have in our assortment that are similar. We don't have a 17-karat handcrafted elongated cushion, but we do have some elongated cushion styles as well as some engraved styles. So we kind of put those together for you guys for some inspiration. And then celebrities are always a big inspiration on red carpets. It's kind of like a fashion show. This is obviously very much over the top, but consumers do look at these looks and then it trickles down. So they might see this giant tennis necklace and they won't be buying the 50-karat, but they might come in for a 5-karat necklace. So it's always great to see what is on the red carpet and trending. You also see a lot whenever color starts to trend, you'll also see that first on the red carpet. And then with the blog, we do also cover these red carpet events. This is an example of the Met Gala that we covered in 2025. There was a lot of emeralds, so we did some Instagram posts on that. And then we go through and kind of break down what everybody was wearing. We put together a little list in the blog. And then if you are Stuller First customers, we actually do also send you those Instagrams. So you would get the Instagram with all the pictures and the captions, and it's ready to post. kind of like having your own little intern. And then celebrities are probably one of the biggest influencers when it comes to engagement rings. This past year, Selena Gomez had her accented marquee style. After this was posted, marquee searches went up by 14%. We had Zendaya with her elongated east-west, and then we had Demi Lovato with her pear. Luckily, Stuller does have a very vast assortment. So we did have some styles that are in CounterSketch that I have here. We have plenty more, but I just wanted to show you guys some examples when these things happen. These are also things we're posting on our blog to keep you guys in the know so that you can show your customers when they come in and they say, I want Zendaya's ring. We have a starting place for you. And then trends do shift regionally. So this is obviously a map of the United States, and I pulled some different things we see trending in different states and different areas. While they are all different, we do see some commonalities. So we see lots of elongated shapes, ovals, emeralds, and pears. We see lots of two stones and hidden halos and some three stones and some fancier side stones. Oval really shot up in 2021. It grew about 20%. And then so far this year, emerald is up 7%. And round solitaires are still mostly what we're going to sell all day, every day. But it's important for us to take a look at what we see trending up and relay that to you guys too, because not everybody wants that round solitaire. So we kind of give you some information on what the next best options are for your customers. And then I love this story. So this is an older style that we have in CounterSketch. This is just a bestseller hidden halo. And one of our designers in-house was playing around with this in CounterSketch. And she realized that we didn't have a three-stone hidden halo in the assortment. So we have this new style that just came out, three-stone hidden halo. And I really wanted to show this to you guys because inspiration can kind of come from anywhere. She wasn't looking to create a new design, but she started with a bestseller and just started playing around. And I thought that was really great for you guys too. When you have customers come in asking for specific things, you might not know offhand the perfect style to go to, but you can kind of create it with almost anything. And then here are some new releases. So these are going to be new to CounterSketch as well as in Ever and Ever in our new January enhancement release. You'll see a lot of the trends we've been talking about. We have some hidden accents and hidden halos. We have some three stones and two stone options, as well as bold gold, which is something we have been seeing trending as well. And then some examples of some piece by piece items we have in CounterSketch. We have your core and classics, as well as some of those fancy side stones to make three stones, and then French set shanks. And then since I've kind of taken you guys through where we look for trends and how we kind of gut check ourselves, this is actually a snapshot of the 2026 bridal runway shows, which have already started. We're seeing lots of bold silhouettes, lots of lace and bold waistlines. And so this can translate into jewelry. So I had to put Taylor Swift somewhere on here. So I have her ring here. The hand engraving does kind of mimic some of that lace detailing we're seeing. And then we have our pinched contour as well as the exaggerated, kind of mimicking those sleeves. And then since those are bold styles and bezels are bold, that's kind of how we've translated it. And then we'll go into some jewelry trends we're seeing within the fine jewelry category. The first one we're seeing a ton of is charms, which really makes sense since customers love customization. This is a great way for them to add their own personal style to a necklace or a bracelet. And then we're seeing more spaced out styles. So think your traditional station necklace, but they're adding different motifs. And we're actually seeing this pop up also in rings and earrings. And then lastly, we have some graduated looks. These are some creative stone layouts with some unique settings and fresh takes. We like to take a look at these mood boards for inspiration, but then we'll take this and kind of curate it down to something that makes more sense for our customers. And I really wanted to show you guys how we look at trends and what we're doing to let you know, too, that you don't have to chase all of these trends. We are partners here with you at Stuller. So this is something we're doing and constantly adding into CounterSketch. And we always have our eye on these trends as well as classics to just try to make it easier for all of you. with the software. Then I'll pass it back to Oriole.
Thank you, Angela. Look, when you said that this is how we partner with all our customers that are here today, I really love that. For anyone, if they need to go and see all the trends, it's something that you are doing every day, so you are a lot more used to that than customers who has to attend all their customers, stay on the store and or take care of their website. So I believe that partnering with a Stuller about all the trends that you have always day by day an eye on it, I believe that is very, very important to highlight it. While you were saying, all the different popular people wearing, I was thinking, when is she going to talk about Taylor Swift? That this is also super big. So finally, you said, but it's true
Yeah, I
that
had to
it.
throw it in there somewhere.
But it's true that in Stellar is amazing because we are big. So when something like this happens, like Selena Gomez, as you were saying, it's amazing how a few days after you start to see the demand increasing on those styles. So it's really, really powerful when this happens. I really like also the map with the different trends. This is something, sometimes everyone from themselves, they feel like, okay, what is trendy now? But it's true that depending on what area you are, the trends are very different. So with all the models that we have
Some
in
of those were surprising to me too.
it's true, but at least what something that we can say is that either in Stellar.com where we have even 3C that you can do some modifications, but also the big amount of SKUs that we have in Stellar.com, or either in CounterSketch where you have also like 4,000 models, and from these 1,000 models you can get a lot of iterations. I believe that it's an easy way to go to custom, because sometimes there is the trends that this is what we are looking for, but then reaching this little detail that makes the customer feel special with the customization that for what Harold explained us yesterday, it's growing like crazy. I believe that is important, Stellar, to offer all these different options to our customers. All right, so I will go back to share my screen. I will share my screen share. So let me know once everyone can see my screen. So can you see now, Angela, my screen? Fantastic. All right, so what I will do, Angela was talking about a few of the models that she wrote in Ever and Ever in the last libraries. So just about the libraries, just a little small mention about this. We update the library every month. So Angela and myself, we need to put reminders in our command channel just to remember that every month we need to start looking for these different models. And everyone who has the membership for CounterSketch will get for free these new models into the library. As Angela was telling us, you will be sure that these models are trendy, that we have been looking on what are the trends and what can be the best fit for CounterSketch. Then we are adding it into different sets of Ever and Ever. This is also something that the first time that I saw it by myself, I was like, wow, this is amazing, because sometimes the customer looking a design just on the screen is not good enough. Most of them, they are not used to make their mind about what you can see on the screen. So having the set of Ever and Ever on your hands, where you can start to see dimensions, the thickness of the band, that's something that the customer really, really loves. So they can fit the ring, and then on the screen you can start to work out with the different modifications that the customer is looking for, either for a style or maybe either for budget. So I will show you there are two different workflows that you can use in CounterSketch. When we come out quite a few years ago with CounterSketch, we said, okay, this needs to be software that it's easy to use, that you can stay just beside the customer. You can make all what the customer is asking just with a few sliders. CounterSketch is like this, right? But this is just one of the ways that we have seen that the people is using it. Because also, as you can see here on the top right square, we have the freehand parts. So the freehand parts at the end of the day is different parts that you can put together. So honestly, Angela, Jason, we have seen crazy designs in the last years just using the freehand parts. So the people start to get more and more and more proficient with the freehand parts, and we end up receiving models that I would never say that would be able to be made through freehand parts. And again, this is when Jason teams plays a very, very important role, because sometimes you start to put pieces together, but then is when JSON team look at this part once they receive the file and they say, all right, this can go to production, or maybe no, we need to do a small changes here, so then it can go to production. So let me start. The model that I was looking at was the 126961. So this is one of the one that Angela was showing. So this would be one of the workflows that you can use in CounterSketch. You choose the model. Now, because I knew the reference, if not, you have all the models that you can start to filter from. If you want a three-stone, if you want an emerald cut, if you want solitaire. So we have all these different categories. That this is actually what Angela is sorting out every month when she brings all these models to the libraries, right? So she sends us back the models that she chose, also with all the different attributes. So for our customers, it's easier to select. All right, so we have the ring. So this is one of the rings that we have now today in Ever and Ever. Means that Angela has been looking into the trends and she knows that this is trendy, so we have it added here. Now, this will be the situation that a customer gets into your store and the customer wants a three-stone, and this is what you have. But the beauty of CounterSketch is that very, very easily you can change anything that you want. Just for instance, on that ring, you have all these different shape, these gems cuts. So look at how many you have. And you can go through any of those. If I just want a novel, and Angela may think, Oriol, this is not trendy now, but I'm just doing it here. So you have now just a novel, and automatically everything adapts to this novel. So this is amazing because you don't need to think about like the other software that we have that is Matrixol that we will show tomorrow, that then I would need to adapt the bezel, I would need to adapt maybe the side stones to get closer to the main stone, because even if I go a bit smaller, or let's go bigger, because these days in the lab ground, we have seen that the things goes bigger and bigger. So now it's recalculating, so it's just rethinking everything. And as you can see now, the gem is bigger and the side stones just moved on the sides. So it's so fast to do these changes, just having your customer with you, that we know by our statistics that this is helping a lot in selling your jewelry. Or then if the customer wants just to say, okay, let me see how it will look with a cushion cut. So you can go with just one click into a cushion cut. Now, once you are here, you still have different options, right? So now I have this ring and I may want a few stones on the shank. So here you see that we have accents gem on off. So I just click on the accents gems, and again, in just one click, I get the stones. Once I have a general look, something that the customer is happy with, then we can go more into the detail. All right, so this will be a ring that the customer will be happy. But he may say, look, I don't need the stones to reach that level, because probably once you have them from this view, you won't see all these stones because we have a big center stone. Then we can go to the advanced customization options, because now we are making custom here. This is where we are letting the customer feel that the customer is special, that he's designing his own design. So I will just click on here and I will go to the shank section. Here you can go for the different tabs that we have if you want to focus on any of those. Now, because we were talking about the stones that we have on this shank, in this shoulder, I can go to the shank and look at here how many options we have. The first of all that we may want to work is that the customer may say, look, this is too squarish. I would like something softer. Okay, so we can go to the top shape, and now you will see how all of a sudden this has changed a bit. So now it's making the shape smoother. And the customer just in real time can see how it looks like. We're talking about the stones. Here is you have accents gem size and accent gems n. As you can see, this is at the very end. But now if I move this slider, you see the stones just moved and everything has recalculated. So I always like to say the same. When you get a model from CounterSketch, you need to play with it. It's not something that you need to get crazy about how I'm going to make this happen. Just play with it. Move sliders up and down, and you will learn how to use the software. And now, because I have a big stone, I may say, look, maybe I can try to get the bigger stones also on the shoulder. So the only thing that I need to do is just go bigger on this slider, and automatically these stones gets bigger and everything adapts to these new stones. So when we have Angela choosing what the trends should be, then we go to another department that will create these files. And this department already has all the settings that needs to go for this ring to be able to be on the manufacturing side. What does this mean? That any change that you do on this ring will go to manufacturing and it will be able to go live, because there is, all this. You can go bigger than what we have in this slider, but then we will tell you, okay, you can go bigger, you can show us, but we are not 100% sure if this will be able to go into production. Now, if you keep into the sliders that we have, it means that everything, once you send it, will be able to go into production. So this would be one of the ways that you could design beside your customer. You can change materials, you can change colors, you can change anything. From here, you can go to order, and from order, you will send it automatically with all the details that you need to fill up to CAD/CAM, and CAD/CAM will send you a quote on what would be the cost of the exact cost for that. Now, let me show you this is the home, because I start just with a model, just to make you aware about how many models we have. So here in this section, the new designs, this is where all the models that Angela has been choosing will go in. But if I go to all the ring designs, here I have, look, 24 pages with all these models. So if you use all these filters that we have, that these are the attributes that Angela is adding on each model, you should be able to get very, very close on what you want. And then just using the sliders that I was showing you, making a few modifications, you should be able to get exactly what you want. Now let's go for the second workflow that I want to show you. So I'm not going to save this one, but I want to try to get the same kind of model that I was working with you now, but just using the freehand parts, right? So these are the freehand parts. So for the freehand parts, here you have the parts in different categories. If you want to choose just shanks, settings. So let's start with shanks, because I want to get that shank that I had before, and it was the shank that was just going to the side stone, right? So I want to get the same kind of shank to start working with. Here you have different views, because now from just one view is not enough. But if you change between all these different views, you will be able to see, first of all, if it's open, and secondly, how to see, you will be able to see how it's from the top. So the one that I was looking is the SH046. Let me go see if I have it here for 9. If not, I can go just and search from here. So it's the CP SH046. So this is the shank that I want to start with. I will select this one. And there we go. So we have the first freehand part. Of course, that here we have the finger size. We can choose any finger size. Now you don't see anything, but from the moment that I click on it, or I click here, you will get, again, all the controls to start working with it. Something that also it's important is to have the finger size reference, because now I want to add the bezel with a stone here. If I don't have a finger size reference, it will be hard for me to place it in the right place. So here, when you are working here, what you need to try is not annoying Jason, because if we get the things a bit, funny, then Jason will get annoyed once he gets back the file. So let's try to make it easy for Jason. So if you go back to the freehand parts, we have here the ring rail guide. So I would choose the ring rail guide. And you see now I got just this ring rail that it's helping me to understand where I will place everything. If I go back to the ring, what I will do is just open it a bit more. I believe that is in that direction. As I said, this is about playing with it. So you see now I'm opening, because here's where I want to fit the center stone and the side stones. Let's go for the next one. The next one needs to be a bezel setting. So we'll go to the settings. And the one that I was looking at, let me look from the front view, because from here, yes, I believe that the one that I was playing with was this one. Let me choose this one. He is already telling you which are the shapes that this bezel can go with. And now I will just move it. This is the beauty of the freehand parts. That is like playing with Lego, right? So you have different parts and you start to put them together to achieve what you want. So let me go to the front view, because on this step I want to be, very precise on the finger size. We will start with that, and we'll use the emerald, because the emerald was the first one that we saw from Angela's model, and I will make it a bit bigger. As bigger I make it, you see that the bezel is also growing. So now I will zoom in and just adapt it to the finger size. All right, now if I want to achieve the same model that we were playing with before, or close to that, I need to get another bezel like this one. We have different options. I can go back to the library and choose again the same one, or I can come just to this one, and from this small menu, I can choose the one that is duplicate select. So I duplicate the select, and I'm generating the same one. As you can see here at the bottom bar, I have the two bezels. So now again, I will go to the front view, and I will start to play with the second one that I generate. I will just place this more in the center so you can see where I'm working on. And I will start again to play with it. Of course that this one needs to be smaller. So now I will go where we have all the settings for this one. Let me just move it like this. Not bad. Angela, don't get upset with me if the style or the look is not good enough. So let me just move it a bit more. Sometimes, there we go. And now if I go to the perspective, I will be able to see, you see I'm too close. And once we get with Jason, he will talk a bit more about all these details, So there's something that I really love from CounterSketch is that the people who's using it can really focus on the style, designing for a customer, because the Jason team will take care of everything else. So I don't need to worry about if this bezel now he is too close or too far from the main one. Of course, that there is for sure that there is a way that needs to be done. This part needs to be done, but no everyone has the skills that Jason may have about how to place the different parts. All right, so I believe, Angela, what do you think? Are we okay with these sizes?
Yeah, it looks good.
Great. All right, so we need another one on the other side. In CounterSketch is very easy. Click side, and we get it. Now, I want to get back to the Sheng because I feel like it's too close. So I will get back to where I was opening. I believe that it was in that direction. And I will keep it like this. All right. Now, if we would like to go with bigger stones, because when I was working with the model from the library, I put bigger stones. I can go just here and make the stones bigger, and everything is also changing. So, and position also, I don't know how many I had before, but let me see if going into that direction, I get more stones. There we go. So we will be all set. So I'm just, trying to show you the different workflows that you may use in CounterSketch. As I said, one is, honestly, if you want to go quick, I feel for something that is quite a standard and is trendy, you can go to the library and through all the attributes or filters that we have, just narrow down until you find the style that you are looking for. If you want something more custom, then the freehand parts will be also a good option. Again, once you finish like this, you go to the order button here and directly you put your details. We get already your account. You send it to the CAD/CAM team. They will quote it for you. And again, and very important, they also will prepare it to be something that can go to production so everyone else can use. So this is the little demo that I had just to talk a bit about CounterSketch today and how it matches with ever and ever models that we have and you can have in your store. And now what I will do next, I will just bring the presentation again so Jason can start talking about the CAD/CAM team. Let me see just 1 second what we have in the chat. Look, Angela, this one is for you. She was talking about the three stone with halos. Joseph is saying great design. However, you might think about tweaking the three stone halo so a wedding band will set flash next to the ring. One woman typically like flash fit. You see a bit more of information. That's good.
Mhm.
Are you going to be expanding the freehand parts? We are always doing that, right, Angela? This Kevin is asking
Mhm.
this. So every month, I don't know how many. It's not always the same exact number, but every month we are adding some freehand parts, right?
Yep.
And Jason was commenting on the Joseph observation. Great. So let me bring the presentation. So I will go on the presentation mode. There we go. Stay with me here because now what I will do, I will run all the slides so Jason can focus explaining us everything else about the Stuller CAD/CAM services. So Jason, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let me know if I go too fast, too slow, let me know. Just I will do the introduction with what we
Okay.
offer from the CAD/CAM team. So you can either submit a CounterSketch file, that this is what I was showing you today. Also, something that is very popular is the modify style. So modify style means that you go to our website and you will see in many of our models a little green button that it says modify style. You click there and then you can say, okay, I like this rim, but I would like to change this, change that, bigger stone, center stone, different shape. So we also collect all this feedback from you and we create this new model for you. So this will be a modify style. And then the last one will be the custom jewelry design. For this is what we understand when there is a sketch, right? So this is what Jason is specialized with. And when you ask even from a picture. As Angela was explaining us, people is looking at Instagram, is looking at what the Hollywood artists are wearing these days. So many times, right, Jason, we get pictures from customers saying, hey, I would like something like this. So then Jason and the sketch team is when they start to craft what the people is looking for.
Definitely.
So from here, Jason, I leave it to you. We will go to the next slide that is explaining how to submit a CounterSketch file, right?
Right. So basically, when you want to submit your CounterSketch file, if you're not really making comments for changes or anything like that, if you're going to submit this particular file as is, uh, pretty much the validator is going to open up the file. They're going to check to make sure that what you've put together, if it wasn't freehand usage, basically it's going to just have um, production items raised. So like the prongs will get raised for production, making sure all the connectivity is there. So on the right image, you'll see the prongs are raised. They might look long in the image, but when you see this on Stella.com, when you look at it, just be mindful that this is for production. The setters are going to go ahead and so they cut their seats and bend over their prongs and everything like that. Then they'll be folded over properly and be finished ready product. So it'll look very close to what their original submission was.
And this is something super important, right, Jason? Because this is what I was telling at the very beginning. So this extra length that you need for the setting is something that while you are designing in CounterSketch, you don't need to worry about. Instead, tomorrow we'll talk about matrix wall, that in matrix wall, these are the things that you need to keep in mind once you present them to the printer.
That's correct.
So then we have modify style. That is also the second option that I was talking about. So what is this, Jason?
So modify style is just different style item numbers that you can pick and select off the website. And let's say this particular model, they submitted it with an oval, but then the request was to put a marquee stone. So that falls into the modify style. So basically you can do a finger change or stone, center stone shape change, and that would fall under the modify style category. So it's still considered a standard validate request, but under the modify style category.
Okay. So we have another example.
All right.
This was another example, right, Jason?
Yes, correct. That's two Stella items, and the category it did incur a modification fee for what the customers wanted to do for it. So they wanted to change the center stone, and that was their inspirational images that they sent in.
And then they
So
finish with that.
Yeah, this was what was actually submitted. This was a lot of freehand parts put together. So a lot of times you'll see stuff aren't complete. Notes are just made for the validation team to please go ahead and complete my model, follow up with any questions or calls. So if we were to have any questions or needed more information, we would contact you either through email or we would give you a call saying, okay, we've got your design request, and from there we'll go ahead and work with you till we get it correctly. So
Because
on the
Jason, just one question. They send this on the matching wedding band. There is this stones that it seems that they fly, right? So probably this is something that is good for you to have an idea of what they want, but something that can go to production.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, basically right there, they just use that to kind of proof out their concept with their customer. And then it's our validation team. They're going to look at, the top view, the side view, and then they're going to try to piece together what your vision was. So sometimes it's a conversation that needs to happen. But in the most part, some of your notes or your comments that you'll put in for the validator will help us piece together the rest of the design.
All right, and let me show you the final result, that this was what your team ended up with.
That's correct. So there we finished off the two outer bands. This actually ended up being a ring guard set. So the center engagement was allowed to go ahead and drop in.
Man, it's amazing. It's very
Came out
nice.
to be a nice piece.
All right. And then we have the following is the submit a sketch, where in this one we have. So tell me about this. They send you these three bands as a.
Well, actually, the band to the left was their desired band that they wanted it, but they submitted the contour band.
Okay.
So they wanted the contour band to have the same pattern. Now
There you
that
go.
particular pattern also had to be changed a little bit because that came straight from another customer's website. So you will get requests from customers where they're going to take images straight off the web. It might come straight from Viraggio or straight from Tiffany Company or whatnot. So when you see that and they've got customer logos that might be copyright issues, you need to let them know up front that we definitely can't reproduce that. We do have to
That's
make
important.
we have to make changes to where it's something different and not an exact duplicate. So this
That's
particular
true.
piece, customer ended up not going with it. So we don't have a final image of what that looked like.
All
So on
right.
this next image, right here, freehand was definitely heavily used in this particular image. So they took their
Well,
time. They did the left and right side. Actually, the right side and left side is a rotate copy, but they took their time. They laid out all their stones, the curved bar design elements. Uh, so we definitely knew we had a lot of work. So this ended up going straight to the sketch team. So
and and this is, Jason, one of the things that I was talking about when I was doing my very easy freehand parts model, right? This is some of the things that we see that you may say, man, uh, what are you able to craft today with freehands is amazing. Of course, that you need to go to Sketch, but it's showing at least, that putting pieces together, what you can achieve. So in the next slide is where we have what your team end up with, right?
correct. And that's the final product. It was probably 2 or 3 versions of going back and forth with the customer till we got the flow of the crossovers correct, and then the marquees, they wanted them laid a certain way, and then for everything to tie in nicely. So that definitely fell into the sketch category. Freehand, like Oriole said, there's a lot of stuff you can put together. Um, we'll get it and it'll be floating, or it's some of the elements are scaled too small. They're not they're not really viable for growing or casting. So that's something on our end we have to go ahead and thicken them, make them production ready, make sure they're going to be able to grow it, cast it, set it, and polish it at the end. So that's all stuff to be mindful. And you can also, if you don't want to take the time and build out the whole entire piece, left side, right side, you can do half of a ring and just make a comment, can you please complete it for me? So if the customer can visually grasp what you're doing and they're good with that, then you don't really have to do the whole completed design. We can take care of that for you.
It's amazing. I believe that, look, at the end of the day, when I was doing your introduction, Jason, something that I mentioned is that you have been on the trade for more than 36 years. So this is a lot of knowledge, a lot of tests that you have been running when printing, casting, and it's not easy to get that. I mean, we can, from the software side, we can try to make it as easy as we can for you to use the software, but there is all this knowledge about jewelry making is not something that it's easy as any other trade, right? So you need to know very,
That's
very
correct.
well all the steps for printing. You need to know about the wax or resin. You need to know about burnout, casting. So these 3 things is a whole world. Then about the crafting the ring, about how to set up all the prongs that you need for setting this stone. So it's so much that you need to know that I feel, and I am in this side, but for anyone who's making jewelry, knowing that they can partner with Stuller, with your team, to be sure that the piece that they are gonna deliver to the customer is something that they can be totally um, trustful, right? That you don't need to worry about anything. You only need to give it to the customer. I believe that this is what we are trying to show
That's correct.
in this virtual summit. Either from Angela's
Yeah,
side, when we were saying that it's good to partner with her about trends. So we are telling you what will be happening to your, let me, Angela, say estate, because from the map that you show us, for the different trends, but until the moment that you offer the piece to the customer. So Angela, Jason,
and there's a lot of new CAD designers out there that don't have manufacturing backgrounds. So this is where Stellar comes into play, that we can help you get through all of the manufacturing issues, the growing issues and stuff like that. We have that background for you, so we're here to utilize it.
All right, Angela, Jason, everyone who has been assisting today, that it has been quite a few. Thank you so much for being in the second session for the fifth virtual summit.